Good morning. Have a seat up on your lift. Cross your legs in the center of your shins, feet below your knees. And your choice today, if you want to do that, getting your feet on the knife edge of your foot and you push the heels out. It's one they teach a lot. Although I'll be honest, when I need to emotionally take care of myself more, I am more apt to struggle less. And this one, where I turn the soles of the feet up, is less struggle for me. And I'm not saying the other version, there's good reason for the other version. You really feel it in your hips. And it doesn't have to be a struggle. It can be simply work, right? Work doesn't have to be a struggle. So your choice, but choose mindfully. Don't just sit down and go, there I am, right? So pick it. You're going to extend your heels out, get the knife edge down, or you're going to turn the soles of your feet up. And notice the differences when you stick your heels out. There's it wakes up this outer quadricep, wakes up the outer hips, and you really feel that drawn from the outer knee to the outer hip. When you turn the soles of the feet up, it kind of goes away. So mentally, I now need to work harder to draw the outer knees to the outer hips and compact the hips together. But on the inner groins, that for me releases more when I turn the soles of the feet up. Maybe it does for you. So know what you're choosing. And if you can, know why you're choosing it. And whichever you've chosen, lengthen through the inner groins. From the inner knee to the lower abdomen, this whole area lengthening. And out in both directions. So it's not just pushing the knees forward, although the knees go forward. It's not just drawing back, although there is a drawing back of the tops of the thighs. But can you extend in both directions like you're stretching out an elastic band? And not just one big stretch and then you're done, but can you lengthen more and more as time goes on? And if you happen to be sitting in Virasana, it's the same thing. With the inner thighs, with that lengthening of the inner thighs. Descend the flesh of the inner thigh. So it moves from the front of the thigh towards the back of the thigh. So from the front quadricep towards the hamstring, there's a descending of the flesh. And that's the same whether you're sitting here in Sukhasana or Virasana. And draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips. And that too is the same whether you're sitting here in Swastikasana or in Virasana. Of course, you want an even balance of the sit bones. Lengthen through the side ribs. Keep the front bottom ribs moving towards the back body and lengthen through the side ribs. And that too, again, it's not one, okay, I'm going to lift my chest and now I'm lengthened. You want to lengthen from the hip to the armpits more and more as time goes on. Allow the shoulders to release away from the sides of your neck. The elbows become heavy. And there's also a lengthening. We talk about lengthening the groin to the legs, from the lower abdomen to the knees. There's also a lengthening, excuse me, from the armpit to the inner elbow. And sometimes we call these the groins of the arms. And keep the elbows drawing down. Bring your palms together, thumbs at your chest. Touch your palms evenly left to right, right to left. Put your eyelids closed from top to bottom. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones. And go inward. Allow the breath to fill the lower lung, middle lung, and top lungs. So the entire lungs, plural, both, left, right, are being filled. The front lung and the back lung. Is the breath only touching the front body? Can you spread it to touch the front and back? And can you spread it to touch the front, back, and sides? And then allowing the breath to expand beyond the bounds of your lungs, filling up the whole torso. And then allowing the breath to fill beyond the bounds of the torso, filling up the whole body, the arms, the legs, allowing the breath to spread. To expand, to touch, to fill each and every cell. And then allowing the breath to expand beyond the bounds of the physical body, to expand, to fill your whole body and the space that surrounds you. And let's chant this syllable alone 3 times together, exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Om. Keeping your sternum lifted, lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. Gently let your eyes open. Straighten your legs. Cross your legs the other way. Interlace your fingers together. Turn your palms out. Push the webbing of your fingers together. Now watch, when you take your arms up, the ribs are going to move forward. So keep the front bottom ribs towards the back body, and then inhale and take the arms up. Now keep the sits bones moving down. Even the outer hips move down and extend through the side ribs, through the armpits, through the arms. Extend your wrist towards the ceiling. Don't push the fingers or where the fingers meet towards the ceiling, but extend the wrist towards the ceiling. The shoulders move down. And then take your arms forward. Look at the way your fingers are interlocked and put the other first finger on top. So switch the interlock of your hands. Extend your arms forward. Again, draw the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Push the webbing of the fingers together. Inhale and come up. Drop the shoulders down as the arms come up. Extend the wrist towards the ceiling, shoulders down, especially the shoulder bones move into the shoulder sockets. Let the wrists move up. This is an extension through the side ribs, through the armpits especially, and then through the inner arms. Release your arms out to the sides, come down. Rest your hands, take a breath. Extend the arms forward, arms up. Now push down through the sit bones, the hips extending up. From there, turn your hands out to the side, take them halfway down. Drop the shoulders, hold your arms up from your armpits, not your shoulders. Inhale, we're going to turn to the right. Exhale, turn to the right. So the left hand goes onto the outside if you need, the right fingertips behind you. If you need a block, if your fingertips don't touch, then you can grab another block. Lift up through the side ribs. Keep your spine perpendicular to the floor. Inhale, exhale. As you bend the elbows, you turn to the right. Maintain the even balance of the sit bones and the lengthening of the groins as you turn. On each inhalation, lengthen up a little bit more. On each exhalation, turn without losing the length you've created. Maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come together. No collapsing. Arms forward, arms up. So keep the length, right? We're here. The purpose of this part of the pose is to get length. Keep that. Turn your hands out to the side. Take your arms halfway down. The purpose of this is to create width. So now keep the length and the width. So the spine is lengthened. There's a width across the torso, the front and backs of the torso. Inhale. Keep that lift. Exhale, turn to the left. Roll the upper arms out. That helps create a little bit more space for the armpit chest. Release the groins. That creates more space in the lower region of the torso for the turn. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. You can bend the elbows to turn. Don't just turn the head, turn with the torso. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Still releasing the groin, still compacting the hips together too. Even balance of the sit bones. On each inhalation, you lengthen the torso, lengthen the spine. Maintain that lift as you exhale and turn. Inhale, lifting, exhale, come to center. Maintain the lift, no collapse, none of this. Now that we're in the center, maintain that lift. Straighten the legs. Change the cross, so we're back to the first way. And again, be mindful with your feet. If you notice, if you paid attention to what I did, I was non-mindful. So when I crossed my feet, I just kind of threw them in. Now, for me, it felt weird. I then felt it, and I knew I had been unmindful in my crossing of them. So now I'm able to go, okay, let me be mindful, and how do I want to situate them? So I'm being less strict with how you choose to situate them, but I'm asking you to have the mindfulness aspect of it so that you're choosing how you want them to be. Interlace your fingers together. Turn your palms out. Relax the inner groins, compact the hips, keep the front bottom ribs towards the back body, and then inhale, come up. Keep those ribs in. Shoulders down, the shoulder bones, the upper arm bones move into the shoulder socket as the wrist extends up. Now, without leaning further back, can you take your arms just the teeniest bit further back, millimeter, to open up the armpits? We're looking to open up the armpits. And notice I said arms, not hands. So it's not just that you're trying to move your hands back. It's that you are opening the armpit or armpits. Exhale, take the arms down, keep the lift, turn your palms to face you, look at the interlock and switch it. And turn your palms out, push the webbing of the fingers together, keep those ribs in, keep the groins releasing, inhale, come up. Don't lean the shoulders back, the shoulders stay directly above the hips, the arms go back, the upper arm bone goes back, chin parallel to the floor, and then wrists up, shoulder bones to the shoulder sockets, shoulders down. And release the arms out to the sides. Rest your hands for a moment. Arms forward, arms up. Get the length. Maintain the length. Turn your hands out to the side. Take your arms halfway down. Drop the shoulders. Now you have length, you have width. Keep the length, keep the width. Inhale, exhale, turning to the right. You can bend the elbows. Inhale, lift, exhale, bend the elbows, turn. As you bend the elbows, that helps create more width across the chest, but also across the back chest. As the elbows move out to the sides, the shoulders also move down. Each inhalation, lift and lengthen. Each exhalation, turn. Inhale, lift, exhale, maintain that lift, come to center. Other side, arms forward, arms up. So the sit bones move down evenly, the hips move down, and from there, everything lifts up. Maintain that lift, exhale, take your arms out to the sides, drop the shoulders. Maintain the lift, maintain the width. Inhale, exhale, turning to the left. Again, move it, rotating the upper arms out creates more space for the armpit chest. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turn, bend those elbows. Keep that lift, that width across the back chest. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Maintain the lift, maintain the width. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Straighten your legs. All right, grab a chair. Have the chair so the back of the chair faces the front, and then have a seat in the chair so that the right side of your body is facing the back of the chair. Yeah, so turn the chair around first. Yep, and then face the parking lot. Awesome. It's hard enough for me to keep track of right and left when everybody's facing the same direction. When people aren't facing the same direction, I got no idea what's going on. All right. So yeah, there's this bar in these kind of chairs. At home, you might have a different kind of chair, but there's this bar that's a little bit in the way. But to the best that you can, have your hips squared, your knees in line with your hips, and then your heels underneath your knees. We're going to do the same actions we did when we were sitting cross-legged on the floor. So arms forward, arms up. We're doing this to get length. So the sit bones still move down, and then there's a lifting and a lengthening through the siders, through the armpits, through the arms, with the spine itself lengthening here too. So watch those front bottom ribs moving forward. Keep the front bottom ribs moving into the body. Now maintain this lift. Inhale, on your exhalation, the arms go out to the sides. So maintain the lift, maintain the width. Now we're going to take hold of the back of the chair. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, take hold of the back of the chair. Again, we're not using fists. So open hands, open hands. When you go fists, it jams up your shoulders, or can jam up your shoulders. Now when we turn, we're going to pull with the left hand and push with the right hand. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Bend the elbows. Elbows up, shoulders down. Pull with the left, push with the right, and begin to turn towards the back of the chair. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Elbows up, shoulders down. So there's an expansion across the front chest and the back chest. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. And while you're here, while I'm not asking you to force any kind of breath, do witness the breath that is here while you're in a twist. It's often a different kind of breath. So observe this experience. Now maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Turn around on the chair. Again, so hips, knees, heels, all in alignment. Keep the front bottom ribs moving towards the back body. Arms forward, arms up. Lengthen. Shoulders down as you extend the arms up. So it's still Urdhva Hastasana arms. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take the arms out to the sides. Maintain the length, create the width. Now maintain the length and width. Inhale, exhale, take hold of the back of the chair. Elbows up, shoulders down. Now it helps to still compact the hips and release the groin. So maintain that. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. So you're pulling with the right, pushing with the left. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning, broadening across both the front and back bodies. See, George, if you can use the palms itself instead of where the thumbs, because again, that area there can go right up into the shoulders. So elbows up, shoulders down. That helps the width and the broadening. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Still paying attention to the leg work we did, the lengthening of the groins, the compacting of the hips. And then paying attention to the breath, not trying to create a different breath, allowing the breath to breathe you, but paying attention to how the breath breathes you when you are in a twisted posture. Maintain the lift, maintain the width. Inhale, exhale, come to center. First side. Keep those ribs in. Compact the hips, release the groins, arms forward, arms up. Lengthen. Maintain that length on your exhalation. Take your arms out to the sides. Create that width. So from the sternum, center of the sternum, and from between the shoulder blades, extend outward through the arms. Maintain the lift, maintain the width. Inhale, exhale, take hold of the backs of the chair. Elbows up, shoulders down. Now we do this from the base of the spine moving up. So from the base of the spine, inhale, lift, exhale, turn, moving up one vertebrae at a time, the pace of your breath, not mine. Inhale, lifting, exhaling, moving towards the mid back, moving one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, lifting, exhale, moving upward towards the upper back, moving one vertebrae at a time, your pace. Now everyone look over your left shoulder, away from the opposite side you're turning to. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. When you look in the opposite direction, often you can turn more. Inhale, lift. On the exhalation, turn to the very tippity top of the spine and then look over your right shoulder. And observe. Maintain the lift, maintain the width. Exhale, come to center. Turn around. Did I mention that we're twisting today? Arms forward, arms up. Keep those ribs in. Release the groins, compact the hips, lengthen through the side ribs, armpits, and arms. And maintain the lift on your exhalation. Take your arms out to the sides. Create width. So now you have length and width. Lengthen across both the front and back sides of the body. So from the center of the sternum and between the shoulder blades, widen. Then on your exhalation, maintain the lift, maintain the width, take hold of the back sides of the chair, elbows up, shoulders down. Don't forget the legs, relax the groins. Often, this is when, at least for me, as soon as I turn, I forget the legs exist. I have to go back to the legs, compact the hips, release the groins, and then building upward, lengthen through the side ribs, building upward, elbows up, shoulders down. Okay, now I have all that. Now we do the turn from the base of the spine. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning, moving one vertebrae at a time, the pace of your breath. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning, moving into the mid back. Right now, your chin is in line with your sternum. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning, moving into the upper back. Again, one vertebrae at a time. Now we're going to turn the neck the opposite way. So look over your right shoulder. Inhale, lifting, still exhale, turning of the torso. And then we'll turn the neck the opposite way. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning one vertebrae at a time, moving to the tip top of the spine, and then look over your left shoulder. Maintaining that lift, inhale, exhale, come to center. All right, get up from the chair, take your chair to the side of the mat, downward facing dog. Hands on the chair, walk your feet back. So we did a lot of lifting and lengthening. Can you feel the lengthening in the side ribs? Can you experience the length in the side ribs? Pushing the tops of the thighs back. Now there's still a lengthening of the inner groins from the inner knees to the lower abdomen, the flesh of the inner thighs moving back, and the lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips. The heels press down, the hips move up. The front bottom ribs still moving towards the back of the spine. So many instructions, the same. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Create length in the armpits and the inner arms. Soft face. Begin to observe the breath as the breath breathes you. Look up, walk your feet forward. Come into Tadasana. Thighs back. Lengthening from the inner knees to the inner groins. Lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. The front bottom ribs towards the back body. Extend through the side ribs. You can face any way you want. Shoulders down. Toes forward though. There we go. All right, so turn to face the chair. Take the right foot. I'm going to change my mind. Okay. You're going to watch for a second. You're going to have your right foot forward and your right leg back. Your hands are on the chair, but not this one. We're going to go here in a minute, or I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But in this one, I want you to create length. So you see how now I know I'm not in one straight line. I still have tight armpits, but my arms and torso are closer to a straight line. So I'm not here. I'm walking everything back. So I'm here. All right. So do that. So right foot forward, left leg back, and get your arms and torso in as close a straight line as is accessible to you today, or as we've been discussing these past weeks, as is optimal. It is front heel in line with your back arch. If you need your legs to be a little bit wider, that's fine. It's not straight. So she asked about the back foot. The back foot is not straight forward. It's at about from straight. It's about a 30-degree angle outward. So it's not the wide turn like we often do. And Olivia, take the center of your back body spine downward without pushing the ribs down. Really try and move the vertebrae and spread them and move them down. And use that action to extend the chest forward. Yes. Don't just do it in the neck though. The head does begin to look up, but don't just take it in the neck. But that is, yes. You feel the difference there? Now, everybody take the right hip back. The right outer hip moves back so the two sides of your torso are equal in length. There's an extension from the pubic bone to the navel, from the navel to the sternum, and from the sternum to the collarbone. Let the energy roll over your shoulders. The shoulder blades begin to move down towards your waist. But then the shoulder blades also move into the body, forward, and then back up to extend your chest forward. Now we're going to switch legs, so I want you to see where your front and back legs are. So they go in the same spot. So take your front leg to your back leg, and your back leg, put where your front leg was. And if you had a good heel to arch alignment, then get that back. If you were a little wider, get that back. And then adjust however you need to so that you have that extension through the side ribs, through the armpits, through the inner arm. Now take the left hip back. Take the left hip back so the two sides of your torso are equal in length. Still lengthen and release the groins. Still draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, especially that front leg. Lift the outer knee to the outer hip and then move that left hip back. And then there's the extension from the pubic bone to the navel, from the navel to the sternum, from the sternum to the collarbone. The energy rolls over your shoulders. Now the actions of the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades do move towards your waist, but then there's also a downward action of the shoulder blades towards the front of the body. And then they move the chest forward. It's as if the shoulder blades themselves are pushing the chest forward. Leanne, it's hard for me to tell. Don't look at me. Listen, it's hard for me to tell exactly what's going on. I want to just make sure you're not taking all that in your neck. That there's an extension through those ribs. I just can't see with the ball. And then walk your front leg back. So now back to downward facing dog. So now an evenness on the two sides. And then look up, walk your feet forward. And it's always fine as you come up, you can take your hands on your hips, elbows up, extend the chest forward. We didn't do it last time, but that's a nice way to come up. And then Tadasana, feet apart. You can take your feet together for a moment. Thighs back. Lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips, lengthen in the inner groins. The flesh of the inner thighs moving back. Front ribs moving towards the back body. And extending through the arms. All right, now the front foot is going to go underneath the chair. And then the back foot is back. Pravrita Trikonasana. The other pose was Parshvottanasana, Parvita Trikonasana. Take your left hand over, over your right foot in the center of the chair. So your foot is underneath towards the front, but the center from left to right, the center of the chair. And now the left hand is directly over your right foot. And take your right hand on your hip. Move the right hip back so that the two sides of your torso are equal. So a similar action that we just did in Parshvottanasana. And then inhale, lengthen the spine so the hip goes back, the chest moves forward, and on your exhalation, begin to turn towards that back wall. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, turning. Do press the back heel down. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, turning. Take a moment to observe that breath. Keep that hip going back. Yes, this is a balancing pose, even though it's not in the syllabus as a balancing pose, but I find it to be a balancing pose. And then on your exhalation, turn your torso towards the chair, both hands on the chair now. And then switch legs. So take the right leg back, take the left leg forward. Again, underneath the center of the chair. So the left hand is forward, take the right hand in the center of the chair over the left foot. And then the left hand goes on that left hip. Move that left hip back. Move the left hip back. Make the left side of your body as long as the right side of your body. And then inhale, and on your exhalation, turn to the left. Inhale, lift, lengthening. Exhale, turning. Press the back heel. Keep the left hip going back. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, turning. George, not so much on the buttocks, but the hip itself. Take on that hip bone right here, that hip bone, and move the hip bone back. Use your arm to move the hip bone back. And on your exhalation, turn towards the chair, and both hands on the chair. Walk your back foot back, downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward, hands on your hips. Inhale, come up. All right, watch for a second. This is what was happening here in the studio. I guess this was happening for some people at home. It wasn't what I was planning to talk about, but we'll see where we go. But this is important because all these poses have to start in the base. If your base is off, everything up above it is off. It's like a house. If the foundation isn't there, it doesn't matter what beautiful stuff you put on, you build on top of it. It falls apart. So here's what's happening. Try and show it so the room and the camera can see it. So the front thigh does turn out. But as people are going, this is my real right leg, I'm not mirroring right now. As people are going towards the right, I'm noticing the ankle is shifting out and the weight is moving to the outer foot. That's putting undue pressure on your ankle. So yes, I was focusing on the hips and the length of the side ribs, but if your foot is off, I'm going to keep this chair to the side so hopefully people can see my foot. If the foot is off, that's changing everything. So I do want you to turn the front thigh out, even though I didn't focus on that instruction, but it does turn out. But I want you to press. So the lower leg turns in, the ankle turns in, and there's a pushing through the ball of the big toe. That's going to keep now your ankle secure. And from there, yes, I still want you to take your hip back, but not that one, if hopefully you can kind of see the foot. But the ball of the big toe still presses. Yeah? Do the words make sense? All right, let's do it again. So right foot forward, but underneath the seat of the chair. The left leg is back. Oh, and Olivia, you're going to be better served if it's accessible with your legs longer apart. So with the hands separated, right? So like downward facing dog hands, I want you to work on that leg. So right now, the thigh turns out until the knee is in line with the top of the foot, not more than that. But the lower leg, now turn it in, turn the ankle in and press through the ball of the front big toe. The back leg does press the back heel. So the upper leg turns out, the lower leg turns in. Now maintain that and take the left hand over your right foot on the chair. And make sure you're maintaining, yes, the front thigh turns out, but that lower leg turning in, the ankle turns slightly in, and you're pressing the ball of the first finger and thumb. Now left hand on, right hand onto your hip. The right lower leg turns in as the front leg turns out. Now, the lower leg turns in as the upper thigh turns out. Now, listen, you're going to be better served if you can compact your hips together and release the groins here. So lengthen from the inner knees to the lower abdomen, lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Keep pressing the ball of the big toe as you take that right hip back. Pressing the ball of the front big toe as you take the right hip back. And then inhale, exhale, turn. Lengthen the groins. If you have your balance, extend your right arm up. Don't grip the toes as you press into the ball of the big toe. It's the ball of the big toe, not the toe. Observe your pose. And then hand down, turn your torso to face the chair. Switch your legs. So start with the hands wide. So downward facing dog, hands. You know the legs are not downward facing dog. The upper thigh turns out until your knee is in line with the top of the foot, not more. But now the lower leg, turn the lower leg in, the ankle even turns slightly in, press through the ball of the big toe. So the lower leg turns in, the upper leg turns out. Now lengthen the groins, lift both outer knees to outer hips, especially the front leg, but it is both to be clear. The flesh of the inner thigh is moving back. So now you're pressing the ball of the big toe, even without the hand on the hip, that left hip is moving back. Now take your right hand to the center of the chair over your foot, hand on hip, and reestablish the leg. The lower leg turns in, the upper leg turns out. Lower leg turns in, upper leg turns out. That left hip moves back. Lengthen the groins, compact the hips. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. It's, we did it, not the jumping out part. So, I mean, your legs are okay. Definitely not wider than that. Your legs are okay. Olivia's legs are okay. George, you're okay for doing a month of yoga. Eventually you want to get the legs further apart, but that's fine. We have to have compassion as well. But they'd be a little shorter than your regular standing pose. So if if Trikonasana, I say, is underneath your hands as your arms are extended, this is a little narrower than that. But keep that hip going back. Hip, front leg. Press the ball of the big toe. Press, 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 press. The ankle also has to turn in. And then from there, lift that front, outer knee to outer hip, and move that hip back. Yeah, that's it, Olivia. That's it. And if you have your balance, sure, extend your arm up. The palm faces out the wall. There you go. Observe the breath breathing you. And then hand on hip. Exhale, turn to face the chair. Walk your other foot back and adjust your feet to downward facing dog. Lengthen through the side ribs. George, do make sure your feet are even. So your left foot right now is in front of your right foot. So you want them to be equally back. Press the thighs back. So Olivia, at that same point in the center of the spine, just drop those center vertebrae down, slide there. There you go. That gives you more length in the side ribs. And look up, walk your feet forward. Take your hands on your hips, extend your chest forward. Inhale, come all the way up. And Tadasana, feet together, feet hip distance apart of your choice. Thighs back. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees to the lower abdomen. Take the flesh of the inner thighs back. Interlace your fingers together. Take your hands onto the back of your hands onto the back of your head. Now, as soon as you do that, the ribs come forward. So take your front bottom ribs towards the back body. Now listen, because I'm not sure if I've taught it like this before, but I've been experimenting with this lately. Listen first, when you extend the arms up, I want you to draw the shoulder bone back into the shoulder socket as you extend the wrists up. So at the same time, feet together, George, or they can be apart, but just facing forward. So now begin to push the wrist up, but at the same time, pull the shoulder bone into the shoulder socket. Pull it down. The shoulders, yes, go down. And often at the end, we'll extend the arms and then extend the wrist, take the shoulder bones down. But doing it as you extend the arms, I found creates a different experience. Upper arm still hug into the ears. Release the arms out to the sides, come down. Tadasana. Change the interlock of the fingers, so put the opposite first finger on top. If you don't remember, do it what feels natural, and then it's going to be the opposite one. The back of your hands on the top of your head. But as soon as I do that, my hips go forward, my ribs go forward. So I have to reestablish everything. Balance evenly on the feet. Thighs back, lengthen the groins, outer knees to outer hips. Front ribs towards the back body. Now, don't just pull the elbows back. They do go back, but take the elbows wider apart here. And then draw the shoulder bone into the shoulder socket as you extend the wrist up. At the same time, don't wait until you're already up there. Do it every stage of the extension. And then, of course, continue it, wrist up, shoulder bones down. Chin parallel to the floor. Release your arms out to the sides. Exhale, come down. All right, put the chair to the side. Grab a block. All right, before we do the block, grab a strap. I wasn't going to do this, but I'm getting this shouting voice in my head to do this. So sometimes you just have to listen to that voice. Somebody, maybe it's me, I don't know, but somebody apparently needs a little bit more shoulder work. So we're going to throw this in before we go back to the twists. Feet hip distance apart. Heels underneath the hips. Extend the strap up. Wide hands, right? Watch those ribs. Don't just throw the ribs forward, though. So wide hands. Now get the feet. So toes are forward, bounce evenly on the feet, thighs back, lengthen the groins, outer knees to outer hips. All that is there. And now push the strap up. The hands aren't moving, but gently pull the arms away from each other as if you're trying to make that strap wider. And then how far apart your hands really are depends completely on your body. So let the strap go down behind you without bending the elbows. So if the elbows bend, you just need to take the straps further apart. and we do the best we can. And then arms up in front of you. That's it, George. Yep. Great. Yeah, that's it. That's how we do it. Yep. And then just go back and forth a few times. Yep, there you go. You do this every day, you'll have a completely new life in a few months, even a few days. If you do it every day, this is such amazing work for the shoulders and that armpit chest, right? Where so many motions just get stuck. All right, and then on your next time going back, stop at that place slightly behind you where your armpits just feel the most open. And pause here, let the breath breathe you. Make sure you're not grimacing. You can always turn the corners of your lips up. And let that strap go down behind you. One more in front of you. And release. All right, hopefully that got you whoever needed to go to. Maybe for all of us. I don't know. Sometimes you just have to listen to that voice in your head. Now, take a block, have a seat. Or at home, it can be blankets, but a lift. Now, if you are really well versed, no, I shouldn't say well versed because it's not about knowing them, but if we're doing the Murchiyasana poses, um, if you know what I'm talking about, and you know you don't need a lift, don't have a lift. Doesn't matter to me. But many of us need the lift here. So we'll start off in Dandasana. So thighs down, still lengthening the inner thighs. The flesh of the inner thighs descending, because these actions are going to help in the twists. It's not just for Dandasana. This benefits your twists. And drawing the outer knees to the outer hips. So we get the legs to understand what we want here in Dandasana. Of course, there's still the lengthening through the side ribs. So fingertips on the floor, rotate the upper arms out. That creates more length in the armpit chest, but it also pushes the front ribs forward. So the front ribs have to draw back as you lengthen through the side ribs. Now maintain the lift of the side ribs. Reach forward behind the left leg and pull the leg into you. You can even lift the foot off the ground and use your arms to pull the leg in. Take hold of the ankle and then draw it in as close as is comfortable. You don't need to hurt yourself, but eventually it gets close, and maybe it's a little further away, or maybe it's up towards the sit bones. That's fine. Now the straight leg is still straight, or the leg that may have bent that's extended, re-straighten it out. Hands around your shin to lift the chest. Lengthen your groins. The legs are doing different things. I understand that. So the brain goes, wait, but I'm not doing the same thing. But it is. Lengthen the inner groins. The flesh of the inner thighs moves from the front of the leg to the back of the leg. Draw from your outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. And you be the judge. Did that change anything in your torso so far? Just doing those actions, did you feel the results? Because the actions, again, are not what's important. It's the results of actions that are important. Now, the right hand goes behind you. I should have said some of you might need a block back there. If you can't, can you reach? Are you touching the floor behind you? Okay. If you can't touch the floor behind you, then you grab a block or a blanket or a lift. Lift the spine. Now, extend the left arm up. Inhale. Keep the extended leg turned in, kneecap up, toes up, and then turn towards the straight leg, towards the right, and take your elbow inside of your knee. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. I need a block behind me. So I got out to get the block. I'm going to redo everything. Lengthen the groins. Outer knees to outer hips. Doing it all over again. There. Shoulders down. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Keep the straight leg turned in. And extend in that straight leg. It's from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner heel, push to the ball of the toe. And at that top of the very top of the upper thigh, it draws back towards the abdomen. Now take the left shoulder blade into the body. Take the left shoulder blade into the body as you turn to the right. Right shoulder down. Come to center, hand around your shin, lift the chest. Hand behind the knee, draw the flesh towards the buttock, straighten the leg. Dandasana. Most likely the sides feel quite different now. So if you felt you needed a block but didn't get one before while you were in the pose, get a second block. You're doing a real Dandasana. You're not waiting. You're not between poses. Thighs down, lengthen the groins. Compact the hips. All right, now other side. Keep the legs. Keep the length of the side ribs. Reach forward. Take hold behind the right knee now. Lift it up. Take hold of the ankle and then place that heel down. Hands around your shin. Lift your chest. Now most of us lose that straight leg. So now we just have to reestablish it. Straight leg. Lengthen the groins, extending out to the inner heel through the ball of the big toe. Lengthen the groins, descend the groins, draw the outer knees to the outer hips. Now see if you can keep all that. So we don't move the awareness, we spread the awareness. So take your left hand now behind you. All right, so I'm using the block. If you know, it depends on the length of your arms. Then the right arm goes up, reach up, inhale, press into that bent leg sit bone as you turn, bend the elbow. But don't collapse. Lift, inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Stand into that bent leg heel, so into the right heel. Stand into that. Press into the sit bone. Lengthen the groins, compact the hips. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Take the right shoulder blade into the body as you turn. Use that right shoulder blade. It goes in and up as you turn. Extending through that straight leg. Lengthening the groin so the upper thighs move towards the abdomen. And observe as the breath breathes you. Maintain that lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Hands around the shin, lift the chest. Hands behind the knee, draw the flesh towards the buttock, drag the heel. Dandasana. Draw the right leg back in. Take hold of the ankle, place it down. Now, we're going to go into Marichyasana 3. We're going to hook the elbow first. Eventually, the elbow goes on the outside. We'll see where we go with that. But first, I want you to lift the chest and side ribs. You lean forward, extend your left arm forward, and hook the elbow. Now, not everybody can hook the elbow. So if you can't hook the elbow, you hook the hand. Hand, elbow, whatever it is for you today. But that straight leg is still extending. Other side. So this arm goes forward. No. Did I get, no, yeah, that's right. And then take your left arm forward. Maybe I said the wrong one. Left arm forward. There you go. Say it again. Whole torso from here, from the hips. So she asked, is she reaching from the shoulder? No, the whole torso is extending because we're still lengthening the spine, and then you hook the elbow. That's it. Now you can take your right hand on your belly button and draw the belly button on the other side of the thigh to turn, and then the hand goes behind you on the floor or on the block. Now, for most of us, that front leg then just falls out to the side. Don't let it turn that front thigh in. Kneecap up, toes up. And inhale, lift, and you can use your back hand to help you lift on your exhalation. Draw the thigh towards you as you turn. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, turning. Release the groins. That will help. Compact the hips. That will help. Inhale, maintain that lift on the exhalation. Come to center, hands around your shin, lift. Hands behind your knee, draw the flesh towards the buttock, drag your heel, straighten the leg, hands by your hips. I'm going to say this now because I usually forget at the end. It goes into my head in the middle of class and I always forget at the end. After class, drink tons of water. Someone can remind me to say it at the end. You need water after twists. You need water after everything, but water after twists. Other leg. Take it in, hold the ankle, place it down. And again, reestablish the extended leg. Now lengthen the groins, descend the groins, outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips. Now hands around the shin, so lift up to those side ribs, take the right arm. You're extending with the arm, but you're extending from the torso, but you want to reach your arm enough so that maybe you can hook the elbow, but maybe not. And then you got the hand, right? Cool, you got hands, hand elbows. Hook. Take your other hand, the left hand, take hold of your belly button and draw it on the other side of that thigh. Then the hand can come behind you onto the floor or the block. Keep that right, the left buttock down, left sit bone down. Keep the straight leg, the extended leg working. Extend the groins, both outer knees to outer hips. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, draw that thigh towards you as you turn. That right shoulder blade moving into the body. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, turning. George, even though you're holding with your hand, you begin to bend the elbow. Bend that elbow. Yeah, there you go. See how that helps you turn? Keep the shoulder down. So elbow up, shoulder down. That's it. Because the more you bend your elbow, the more you'll turn. Maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Hands around the shin. Lift, hands behind the knee. Draw the flesh towards the buttock. Straighten the leg. And here we are, back in Dandasana, hands by your hips. All right, one last Murchiyasana 3. So take hold of your right leg, that comes in. Now, you have a choice. Certainly there's the hand. If you did the elbow, there's the elbow. Or you lift, you take your right hand behind you, you lean back a little bit and extend the left arm up. And then as you turn, you take your elbow on the outside, as close to your armpit as you can. So I'm not really demonstrating this that well, but I'm doing the best I can today. So if it goes on the outside, great. But George, you're just going to do just what you did. That's fine. Okay, but keep that extend. There you go. Okay. So choices. Don't let your ego get in the way. Nobody's looking at you. Just me. I'm the only one. Judgment-free zone. So hand, elbow, or maybe your elbow is hooked on the other side. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. If your elbow is hooked around the shin, then you draw the thigh towards you as you turn. If your elbow's on the outside of the thigh, then it's the elbow against the knee thigh that helps the turn. Either way, the extended leg is extending. Release the groins, compact the hips. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Maintain that lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center, hands around the shin. Lift the chest. Hands behind the knee, draw the flesh towards the buttock, drag your heel. And for anyone who's feeling, oh, I didn't get there because I didn't get my elbow around, don't worry, that's not the complete pose either. Eventually your fingers are interlocked behind your body. It's all kinds of stuff, so don't worry about it. No one did the final pose. Other leg, last one. Hands around the shin, lift. So whatever you did on the first side, if you took the hand across, do it. If you took the elbow across, do it. Or if you did the other one, You take your hand behind you, you lean back slightly, extend the right arm up, rotate as you turn, and the elbow comes across the thigh. But you might want to adjust to get closer to your armpit. Keep the straight leg extending. Soften, release, extend the groins, compact the hips. Inhale, lift, exhale, turn. Still balanced evenly on those sit bones, by the way. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Take that right shoulder blade into the body. Maintain that lift, inhale, exhale, come to center, hands around your shin. Lift the chest, hands behind your knee, draw the flesh towards the buttock, straighten your leg. Back to Dandasana. And just to even things out, since we've done a lot of twists, downward facing dog. Your choice on the floor, the chair, blocks, floor, blocks, chair, stairs. Lots of options, okay? Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Toes under, straighten the legs. Inhale, exhale, thighs back, chest towards your thighs, sit bones high. Now we've done a lot of non-symmetrical poses today. Can you even this one out? Equal weight on each of your hands and each of your feet. Thighs pressing back evenly, lengthening through the side ribs evenly, lifting the outer knees to the outer hips evenly. George, feet further apart. Now press those thighs back. Now press your thighs back, tops of the thighs, top back, towards the ceiling. There we go. That's the one. Let the skull completely release, let go. Let the skull dangle like a mango and find an evenness on the sides of the body. If you're on a chair or the stairs, come into Tadasana. Otherwise, bend your legs. Let your knees touch the floor at precisely the same moment. Feet together, knees apart. Lengthen into child's pose. Rest your skull. Skull can either rest on the floor or a block. Let go. And then take your hands underneath your shoulders, push to come up. Everybody, lie back. Just lie back. Start with your legs bent. Drag your heels on the floor one at a time. If your lower back aches at all, you can either keep your knees bent or take a, if you're at home, take a bolster or blankets under them, or anyone can rest your calves on a chair. Take your arms comfortably out to the sides. Maybe they're at about 30-degree angles. Maybe they're further out to the sides. Let go. Let go. Let gravity take hold. Let gravity do the work here. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones. Let the body, allow the body to surrender to gravity. And allow the breath to breathe you. You don't need to breathe, the breath will breathe you. Can you become a witness to the breath as the breath uses this body to do its work of breathing? Begin to deepen the inhalation and lengthen the exhalation. Deepen the inhalation and lengthen the exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs. Place your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart. So bend the legs, knees together, feet apart. Take your hands, place them onto your abdomen or chest. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate your body, pierce through your layers, and heal whatever it is you may need healing with today. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right. If you want to roll to the left, then extend your left arm, roll to the left. That's fine. Rest your ear into your upper arm. So your arm is actually supporting your head. So roll to the side. And when you feel ready, turn your torso towards the floor. Use your top hand, push to come up. Come up chest first, head last. Bring your palms together. Draw your eyes back and down as you turn the corners of your lips up. Observing your practice. What's different? What's changed? Offering gratitude for yourself. Offering gratitude for the practice of yoga and all the teachers who came before us. And let's close our practice by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Chanting, let your eyes open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you. If you are celebrating anything tonight or tomorrow, please have a joyous, beautiful celebration. If you're not, have a joyous, beautiful day.